Hello everyone, Krydax here, and welcome back to pYanodon's Season 3. So, trying to remember what we were doing in the last episode. Oh yeah, I've figured out some things. And I've got some coffee, which should help me figure out even more things. So, what was going on with this was a mess. And if you watched the last episode recently, you'll know what was going on, which was that we cannot read the contents and set the requests at the same time. It's a whole shebang. There's a couple solutions that I've kind of either figured out or other people have helped me figure out on the Discord. One of them, which this is one that I'm embarrassed to admit I did not think of, is I can read contents and then just wait. Oh. Oh. Apparently not? Huh. Now that's something. Well, I thought this was gonna be a great solution. Shoot. Shoot dang. We're gonna have to go with one of the more complex solutions. So Logistic Network Channels has another downside, which is that the groupings of logistic groups are per channel. They're not shared between allies, which means I cannot use the ones that I make in my inventory over here. Now, maybe that's fine, but it's kind of nice to be able to have it. I don't know. So, shoot. Just trying to figure out what to do here. So, because that was my planned solution. I was going to talk about my other ideas, but then that's the one I was just going to go with because it was the simplest. And it turns out it actually doesn't work. Oh no. What I'm thinking is we will do a combo pair. So we're already reading, let's see, where do we read the contents? So these are reading contents. So we also just want to read the contents of these. So here, let's unhook this. Is it this one? Yeah. Let's unhook that. And now we can also enable, disable, turn it on or off based on a condition. Okay, so we're gonna read contents. That much I know. Then we're gonna have combinators that set the requests of a requester chest. Okay. And then that requester chest, I guess it actually was fine when it was here, because then we can do an inserter that goes like this. And then that requester chest will read contents, and then we have to subtract. Oh my gosh. This is so messy though. I just don't like this. But I should be able to now subtract contents times -1. And now that's added on to those to set requests. Man, that's ugly, isn't it? It was just 2 things and now it's, well, I guess it's like 4 things, but it feels, no, that's 5 things. But yeah, I just can't see another way to do it now that I can't share logistics groups. And then the other solution I had thought of is doing an inserter that has a pulse subtraction system, but that seems more complicated than this, where an inserter would subtract 1 every time it inserts something in. Yeah, I don't think that would really work. Okay, so I think this is the system we're going with. So then this guy is gonna create the requests. This guy has contents red, and all of those contents need to be sent on a green wire to the same contents as... Uh-oh. Oops. Whoops. Put everything back. Shoot. Did I plug in centrifuges? No, I don't think I did yet. That shouldn't be in here. We did do labs. Yeah, we have 9 labs. Okay. Anyway, I think that should be added into the same pot as this. Wow, these are filling up faster than I thought they would. We're gonna end up needing a lot of these. Yikes. Okay. I mean, I can expand the system, but I guess later we get the logistics like sheds and stuff, which is nice. Because I don't think you can merge. Merging chests doesn't have... We already tried this, right? Yeah, we can't do that. That would be neat. Okay, so anyway, I'm pretty sure this is gonna work. Because now the contents are being counted as in these chests, which will count against our crafting signals, which is good. And then these are hooked up to set the requests of only each individual one. Okay, and that needs to be channel 1. So then this has to move 2 tiles over. This has to move 1 tile over. These are connected with a red wire? No, with a green wire to each other. And they are on read contents, which I think is what it defaults to. Yeah. And then these are connected with green wires to each other to add into the crafting network. And then these and these guys, these are hooked up like that. Copy that, and then channel 1, channel 1. Okay, I think that's everything we need to have 3 of these. I don't even know if I need 3 of them, to be honest. 1 is probably most of what I'm gonna use. So then if I turn this on, perfect. Didn't do anything. Making 1 evaporator. Why are we making... Well, it's the tick delay, I think. Yeah. Now, these are all stuck on small parts. Why are they stuck on small parts? Bolts? Nothing I can do about that, right? We will catch up on small parts. I've made a bunch of stuff recently. I should probably buffer small parts more though. These have 48 slots, right? So why don't I go to like... And if I buffer bolts more, that'll allow me to make small parts faster for longer as well. But anyway, 6,000 is only 30 stacks, so 8,000? Let's go to 40 stacks. Why not? Well, that only leaves 8 stacks. Let's do like 35 stacks. Okay. Anyway, yeah, this should work. And now I can then turn this off. Grab everything out of here. And everybody's happy. Hunky dory. Cool. It does see... I'm wondering why we're needing 4. That jitteriness is really annoying. I wonder what that is. Huh. I don't know. Something's showing up for 1 tick. It might have been the bolts. It was going at that cadence. Yeah, I think it was the bolts. Anyway, okay, so Arqad actual build is what we can now work on. Goodness, what a craziness. But we've gotten so much more set up in our mall now. Like, we've even got mechanical parts, which is awesome, and they're like actually automated. Shafts are going, which is great, which is taking a minute, but they're going. We got control panels, we got utility boxes, which did I bring a bunch to load into here? Or did I put them all into this? Where did all my utility boxes go? I thought I had grabbed them all. Maybe not. Okay. Anyway, soon this will be our one-stop shop for all mall items. Why is concrete not here? That's actually a problem. We should have concrete. It looks like we actually ran out of concrete. No, no, yeah, right there. Have we not made 1,000 yet? We're out of gravel. I see. I see. Okay, we're gonna go fix that real quick. Do I have any jaw crushers? I think I do. In here somewhere. Oh, and I have a bunch. Why do I need that many for Arqads? I don't think so. I was carrying a bunch of extra stuff. Wait, where did I? Okay, yeah, they're in this chest. It's like, where did I just put those? All right, that should be good. Let's hop in here. And what I'm thinking is to just add some gravel crushing to the stone mine area. And I might even lower the priority of this gravel providing by a little bit, because it's not my favorite way to make gravel, right? But it is a way to make gravel. And are we might need a new station, actually. Yeah. Well, no, I can just set this up to be a provider station, I think. Because we're not requesting anything at the moment. So why don't we just flip this bad boy around to be a F provider? No, just regular provider. Strong side provider? Weak side provider. So build that. Merge these. Take off the limit. Priority is going to be -1. This is going to be gravel from Stone Crush. Provide. And we shouldn't need to do anything else. We literally just set up jaw crushers. And that's it. And there'll be one more tile up so I can use long inserters. And then crush stone. That right there is 16 a second. I think that's enough. That's 4 each. Do I want loaders? Nah. Alright, so we'll do that. One there. Okay. And 3 powered inserters. And we make less gravel than we use stone, so that should work. All right, and then these will be close. These will be close. And that should get us gravel supply from our stone supply. And I could prioritize, just in case. I don't think that's going to be a thing, but I just want this to be a low priority process that only is running if we, you know, have extra stone. But that should keep our gravel needs supplied. Pretty much. Oh, this needs 2 more squares. Alright. It's not quite full speed. That's only 3.6 a second. So, like, these are going to be, yeah, stopping for a very brief moment. But that's okay. I'm not too worried about that. Not too worried about that. And now we've got gravel coming in. And that should fill up pretty fast. So that's done. And now let's head back over to the Arqads. I'm going the wrong way. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Where are they? Right here? Yeah, that's Arqads, I think. Alright, so this whole thing... I was hoping to have another queen by the time we rebuilt it, but is that actually happening? Oh god. How did this turn to biomass? That's actually a very real question. How did that turn to biomass? Well, no matter. What we will do is the following. You will filter on biomass. And then we will put biomass on this belt, and all will be well. What's funny is we need biomass on this belt, so I could just share, but I think that's gonna make things worse. Alright, did we ever get a queen? We certainly didn't. How many eggs do I have left? Are we gonna have to make a bunch more cDNA based? Oh, right, I was out of wax. But I could start requesting Tufra now. But that needs bones and a whole process, so I'm not gonna do that quite yet. We should still have a bunch up here with our old process. I will do the Tufra to sugar thing, but that's like a 4-step process. That also needs bones, so I'm not going to set that up right now. I also want to point out, I was informed about the Nexalit thing. It's even better than I thought. If you use better food, they literally bring back twice as many ores from the same trip. So it literally is just more throughput, which it wasn't totally clear to me that that's how it worked. I assumed it would just mean they mine twice as long before they come back. So it would increase their efficiency by, I don't know, maybe about 50%, because they spend about maybe half their time digging, maybe a little more. So that's what I thought it would do. But it sounds like they take the same amount of time to mine twice as many ores. So I need to switch this over to meat ASAP. And the good news is I have trains over here already. So I think what I'm gonna do is we're just gonna extend extend this. And is that gonna do the right things with belts? It looks like it will. Yeah. Okay, so I should be able to let that go. And then we'll do another one here. And then junction. Oh, that's so close. Is that in? But then that's on the quartz, which is kind of annoying. So maybe I'll put it over here and we'll just belt it. Or I could put it right there. Yeah. think I'll just put it right there. Or there. It's just a little too close for comfort, and if I ever want that quartz, it would be convenient to have the stations right here as well. So we'll do that one, and then another plus junction. Okay, and then RoboPort coverage wise, I should add some to our little system here, just to have some more coverage, like in here, down here, over there. Just gotta give these bots places to charge. Along that journey. And then, yeah, along this journey, they're going to be running out of power too, but that's fine. What can you do? Now, call me crazy, but this is where I actually wish I had the quality mechanic, is with bots specifically, because they get more battery charge that way. I'm surprised that, is there no bot battery upgrades? I've seen other mods with bot battery upgrades. I could see Pi adding that. That could be a nice little addition. Okay, what did I leave to do? Get the combs. Get the combs. Combs. We should have a bunch if I didn't do anything wrong. There we go. And it looks like we're missing sand now, which is not being provided. I think I just did this. Yeah. And then I could do this. And now we're out of ash. Alright. Well, that should get me through a little while longer, at least. Because I think we found out that it's like you only use 1/8 of a comb per cycle or something like that. It's very little, so we should get 8 cycles per comb, and that's a lot of combs. 260. Alright, so now we load up all those into this chest. And that gets this running again. Okay. Is now the time to set up the real setup? Do I just delete all this and start fresh? I think it is. Because I'm still going to need a roll for queens, even once we're set up. I was just hoping that, like, I could have a queen or two by now and a bunch of eggs already going. But it looks like we're gonna have to... Looks like we're gonna have to restart here. Now, another question I have for myself is, am I going to want to use a local bot network again? And I probably will. I think that could save me some stuff. What I don't want to do is waste any wax. Hot air, I don't care about wasting. Wax, I do care a little bit. Though, I guess it's only 50 that's in here. That's not a huge deal. Alright. I'm kind of having regrets about not setting this up the right way the first time. But here we are. They're not huge regrets. They're moderate regrets. You know, it's just the regret of like, wow, this is some spaghetti nonsense that I have to deconstruct, and all the stuff, all the buffered belt stuff that we're just gonna have to reset. But it's okay, because we're gonna use up the buffers anyway, so it's like, it's really not that big of a deal. It's really not a big deal. But there's a lot going on with Arqad, so this is going to take a hot second to set up. I'm guessing this is going to be the rest of this episode, all of next episode, potentially a lot of the fall. It could even be more than that. And I'm hand deconstructing because I don't want base logistics bots to come deconstruct things. And like we've talked about, there's no way for me to order a decon order that doesn't go to normal bots, which is kind of annoying. Nothing to do about that. Alright, and I'm putting all my random crap in here. This one I could just shoot. That'll save me 5 slots at least. What is this? So what's going on here? I'm using 263 construction bots apparently. Got it. Oh no, I just wasted a bunch of honey. Well, whatever, that's fine. Guess we wasted a bunch of honey. Here we are. Okay, we're almost there. I guess I need a storage on channel 1 for those to be happy. Okay, so I'm gonna move these. Well, first of all, let's look at our actual build here. We do have 2 of these guys running. And there's only one recipe that is Arqad related. No, there's 2. No, there's only one. I mean, there are 2, but there's only one that I'm going to use. Though it does spend a lot of Ralasia. At the same time, though, we've looked at the costs associated with Arqads, and I think it's worth spending a lot of Ralasia. So this is where using logistics bots, I think, just makes sense. I mean, if we look at the total in, if we're not counting, well, I guess barrels out is actually reasonably high. So we might want to belt the barrels. Everything else could easily be logistics bots, though. You know, in terms of the Arqads and the queens and stuff, it's just a really low rate of items. I think going bot-based honestly makes a lot of sense. Though buffering, the nice thing about belt-based is it's easier to do priorities. That makes me double because we also need because the queen gets used to make eggs and then a queen, and then it cycles back. And I'd like to also run the queen making process in probably 3 apiary hydrocarbon plants. So that's this process. So we'd like to run that. And then that one requires just the nests. We need to make a bunch of nests, which is a 3-step process of eggs and honeycombs to maggots, maggots and food, and empty combs to nests, and more Vrauk. You use Vrauks twice, and then we have the nest. I guess it's a 2-step process. And then there's the honey making process, which is a completely separate thing. So the honey making process is just a bunch of wasps eating Ulrichs and making honey, and then the honey gets squeezed out and the combs get returned. So that is a closed loop that only input it needs Ulrichs and electricity, which is a surprising amount. These use a whole megawatt. But the Ulrichs can be their own belt because they are the only thing that's needed. And I might build that a little bit over to the side. So Ulrich's should not be mixed with anything else, because they just do their own thing. So let's have Ulrich's turning into honey over here or something. And we need 22, which is going to be a pretty big block. How big is 10 of these? I mean, that's 9 right there. So it's a huge block for honey. Okay, why don't I do that vertically over here? I think that's my play. So we'll go over here. We'll do a block of, I think, this many. And we will need a bunch of honeycombs buffered. Do I do a sushi belt because of that? This is an attractive belt for sushiing because we have 2 in, 1 out, relatively low rates of things. And if I buffer it on one belt, then I need a ton of empty honeycombs to just live on the belt, which I don't love. So I do kind of like the idea of sushi loop here. Yeah. And I'm guessing this is the kind that will need 2 power poles, 1 on each end. We need an input for each building and an output for each building. Oops, I cheated. Wrong inserter. You can't be long. No long mechanical inserters. Okay, I think that's it. That'll place on the right side, that'll place on the left, so let's switch that so we're outputting onto the same side at least. And the rates of all that, it literally does not matter. Like, I do not need to care about belt sides at all. And then this, I guess, if I'm being... I guess we need to do it like that, but that means this needs to go like that, which is kind of annoying. Wait, no, that's not how that works. What am I doing? Does that work? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so there's our sushi loop. And for now, I will build 6, but we need to add a lot more later. As we know. Okay, do my bots have anything else to add here? A whole building. There we go. All right, sweet. So that is the sushi loop, which will be exposed to doing other things up here, like centrifuging out the whatchamacallit. And all of that only needs 0.158 buildings. So I'm thinking 2 inserters will catch most of our honey. I could make it 3 if I really wanted to. That almost guarantees we will catch all of the honey that passes by, squeeze it out, and then we plop the empty comb back on. But that one probably should be buffered, so that way we have a way to buffer things. And then this one is measuring the read full belt. This one's enabled based on empty honeycomb being less than, I don't know, let's just say 50. And then this is where we can put all the empty honeycombs, which I have none of in my inventory. And then that one will empty things. Oh, how do we not have this building? Oh, I must have put it away. Oh no, I just don't have my bots turned on. LOL. I was like, wait a second, that doesn't make any sense to me. We should have this building, and we did. All right, so that's done. Let's put a lamp over here and get power from the east. And then we'll just bring in Ulrich's on this side. And then that will be enable disabled based on Ulrich. Sir Ulrich von Liechtenstein. It's this one. We'll say, I mean, it's 0.3 a second. So in terms of belt density, we need 1 unit per belt gives us 0.1875 per second, I think it is. Such a weird number. So we need 0.1 units per belt. So even if I do 50 Ulrichs, that supports 500 belt length. Yeah, we're fine at 50. And then what? What are we doing now? That's done. That's done. We actually don't need a casting unit to make more of these. No, wait, we do. Why is this so confusing to me? Get honeycomb, used comb. That's right. It's making the used comb does recycle properly. That's right. Okay. So I was totally wrong. We will need to offload some of these honeycombs. All right, well, there's a couple things I want to do. First of all, I want to have... So there's no spoilage going on here. So why don't I just enable disable the buildings based on honeycomb count on the belt itself. So these will be enabled if honeycombs are less than, I don't even know, 90. It makes 3 at a time, so 22 of them would make 60 if they all have, let's go like 120. Okay, so those will fill the belt up with honeycombs, and then I think I will just use bots to move the honeycombs over to the Vrauk nest area. But then that means we will need to import honeycombs. I think I will prioritize the wax going to remake empty honeycombs. And then it'll be the empty combs that we'll have fewer of. Because I can't quite closed loop this unless I also do this step of the process right here. Which maybe we should. But this needs Vrauks and eggs, which is another part of the process. But maybe we should put these right next to it. Yeah, let's just try that. Okay, so this, we need 6 of these. Which I think I actually have 6. That's another really long belt, but I think I'm okay with this one buffering. It's a few hundred honeycombs, though. That's... Yeah, I mean, that's 300 honeycombs right there. Am I willing to sacrifice 300 honeycombs? I mean, it's like less than an hour of production. It's not that crazy. At the end of the day, it's not that crazy. And it might simplify things a lot if I just have the honeycombs on a belt. It's really the caged Vrauks on a belt that feels like more than the honeycombs. The eggs should be fine because they're kind of large quantity items. You know, you use 10 per recipe. 30 per recipe even. So buffering a whole belt to those doesn't really matter. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is this is going to produce used combs, and then I'll melt down those used combs in a high pressure furnace. So the output, you know, can come back up, and then we can immediately casting unit those back into empty combs, and this can be a closed loop. Like this one in particular does not need any excess stuff. So then we'll set up honeycomb extraction. Now, does it matter if honey goes to honeycomb or honey first? Or, I mean, maggots or honey? Yes, it does. Unfortunately. Because honey barrels make queens. And we want to prioritize queens. Well, wait a second. I mean, once we get backed up, it should be fine. So yeah, prioritizing going to nests should be fine. Could I direct insert? We're going 6 to 15. That's not quite right, but I could go 1 to 2 with these. And that could simplify things a little bit. But it's only one thing that's being direct inserted, so it doesn't change that much. Anyway, I think I can just filter off honeycomb. And then that will go here. Something else will go on that side. Something else will go on this belt. And then we'll have everything. Maybe the eggs go on one of them. And then the Vraux. Let's move this up a couple tiles. The Vraux themselves get fed into this column, which is going to be a lot. I almost just want to do bots for this. Because it's 5. I mean, this is definitely a sushi belt situation, if not bots. It's 5 in, 2 out, total of 7 different things flying around here. So yeah, sushi belt it is. I'll just copy this. We'll get up. Because again, the rates on everything is so low. We could use one belt side and still have plenty of margin left over. So that's fine with me. And then that goes down. This is going to end up being 16. And then the final thing we need a bunch of is just ones making Arqads themselves. But that one is the least necessary. That one is only helpful for the final output of the whole situation. You know, like actually making Arqads for science output and such. We also need some honey for science output and such, don't we? Shoot. But I guess where's most of the honey going? Most of the honey... Oh, I already did set up extra honey output. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Oh, wait a second. Am I a dummy? Oh my gosh, Kydax, wait a second. Can you make... Oh no, okay. I was gonna say, I was like, wait, can't you use honey to make sugar to make the wax? No, you can in Pi 3 science packs. LOL. Okay, so we're getting this set up. Again, I'm just setting up 6 buildings for now. And then Vraux and their caging will happen up here. I'm gonna just make this kind of a little situation here. Try to make it symmetrical. It still doesn't look symmetrical. That's symmetrical. 6, 6, perfect. Okay. So there's that, and then this one. We'll have cages. Did I import wood for burning? I mean, I guess we have coke if we really wanted to use coal, or I could use biomass, or I could just use a big giant electric factory which doesn't care about being powered with fuel, but it is huge. Given it only runs 10% of the time, even at max rate, I would just use one of these, and we'll put biomass in it. Because that'll only use 15 kilowatts, which is a biomass every 10, like 15, 18 seconds, something like that. So that's not bad at all. Anyway, the cages. So wait, we get 3 things out. Used comb. Let's go that to the right. Used comb. And all of that gets turned into wax, which will go straight into that to get turned back into empty combs. Which I guess... I just thought about that. I guess we should move that over by 2 tiles so that we can do something like this. That way we're buffering properly. And then we do want a limit on this building? No. No, this building has no limit because this is a closed loop. Right. So no limit needed. It's a closed loop. We will need hot air. And then to increase the loop, I would need to add more wax in. If I want to increase how many overall honeycombs there are in the loop. So I might need an additional connection for this wax, because at some point we're going to want to add more in. Or I can just manually move some used combs into this one, I guess, is another option. I guess that works too. But yeah, so here's hot air, and that's going to need to come down to there. So that's hot air connection. All right, so used combs just go straight in there, no problems. And then we've got the cages and then the maggots. So then from here, cages will go right. And those will get loaded, and the maggots will go over there. So cages get loaded into here. So there's an empty cage buffer. And then I'm gonna make this go up a couple more tiles. And this is why you set all this stuff up before you actually hook up the inputs, because now we're not deleting things or dealing with tons of inventory buffers when I'm moving everything. All right, and then finally the cage rocks go on to a belt here. That will be buffered. That's a lot of cage rocks. Should I use a sushi for this too? It's fine. It's fine. All right, so then for this, I think we just want some sort of situation like this. And we input. Surely the rate on each one is tiny. Yeah, I mean, it's 1.255, but that's for 6 buildings. So, yeah. Far less than 0.5 per building. And then what? I guess we need eggs coming in from this direction at some point. So that'll be Arqad eggs. Okay, now we've handled the 3 inputs once eggs are on this. Caging of the Vrauks is being handled. We do need biomass in to the caged Vrauk. The wax recycling loop is handled. Honey output will go over there somewhere. This is outputting to make maggots, to make nests, which won't run until we get honey. So this will run, taking all of our whatevers. But then this won't run until we have additional, and then it'll do one of those like kind of oscillations, which I don't know if I love that, but I don't really have a way to prevent it. I mean, I could slow down this inserter. If it's a mechanical, maybe it'll miss more pieces that'll go on to make honey. I could do a splitter situation, but I don't think that's worth it. Okay, so that is good, and I think we need to call it an episode here, and we'll finish this in the next one. I'm having a lot of fun, and I don't want to stop here, but I do think we need to call it an episode. So the real Arqad setup, please stand up, is happening. Sweet. All right, well, as always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next one.